to the second episode of Wow with Shakti. Wow with Shakti is Warrioress of the Week with Shakti. I started this podcast to start a conversation around a very important issue of the importance of martial arts for the well being of women. Hey,
Hey, can you
hey,
hear
you
me?
can hear me? Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You,
yeah.
okay, great. Welcome, Aishwarya, on the second episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And can
Thanks for
you?
inviting.
It's my pleasure actually to have you on this podcast. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do?
So currently I'm working on project called She Said No, where which is specifically for women, uh, women self-defense oriented classes. Um, and apart from that, actually nothing. So
Okay,
I've completed
okay.
my engineering, but I decided to switch the field because I know the importance being been through some experiences myself. So yeah,
Okay. And you trade in Bhimi, right? We don't really know much about this martial art form called Bhimi. Can you on that?
just a minute. I think there is lag due to connection issue. Can you
Okay,
repeat the
sure.
question?
Yeah. You practice this martial art called Bhimi, right? Uh,
Right.
it's not many people know about this. So can you tell us a little bit
Right.
about what Bhimi is?
So basically, uh, I learned it from Saurabh, who learned from Ashwin. So history goes back to Mahabharata's time. We all know about the warrior Bhim. So it is said that he is the inventor of this martial arts form. And after that, I know of when this martial arts was used is in Shivaji Maharaj uh, in his era by his soldiers. So it most I would say its most basic element or most dominant element would be earth element, earth and wind. It works with those two elements mostly, although it comprises of all five. But
Okay.
while practicing, I found that it helped me grounding much more than any other martial arts form that I have trained in.
Right, right. Okay. So since how long you have been learning martial arts, Aishwarya?
Okay. I actually started practicing at very young age, like age of 5 or before that, I guess.
Hmm.
So back then I started with karate classes because my brother was going and I used to go with him just just watch. So after that, I was like, yeah, I wanna join. So that's how I started my karate class. And I had no clue what I'm learning up to certain age. Like I was just doing because I like physical activities. I was doing it. So after that, the trend of school sports came in, where it all became all about tournaments and all. So that happened, and after that, in year 2014, I was introduced to Bimi.
Okay, okay.
After a huge gap, I was again reintroduced to the field of martial arts again, and here it was very different, I would say, because all I had learned all my life was um, you have to attack your opponent. You just have to bash the hell out of them. That's all I knew. But here I came to know that actual purpose is like it's out of the window everywhere, everywhere. So here I learned like the aspects of real martial arts and the base of it, which is self-defense. That's totally different. That's totally different scenario. So when you get attacked in street or get attacked in general, the moves that you learn in karate classes, like you take the stance and then whatever you are doing, like you have practiced katas and all, that doesn't help at all because no one attacks you as you have trained. They're not gonna punch you. They're slaps only, and you will never know where it's coming from unless you have practiced. And the truth about violence again is that um, attacks, I would say, are very, very unpredictable. Like you'll never know if you're being grabbed from behind, you're being attacked by a weapon, or someone is pulling your hair, or basically there is a lot of manhandling, and we are not used to it. So yeah, that's what I learned there, and then there was a philosophical aspect to it as well. As Pallavi also said, that one thing that we learned and that stuck to me is never to get in fight. Like avoid as much as you can get face to face and resolve it other using other methods. So be it using distraction, be it like talking them out of it or whatever. Just avoid fighting as much as you can. As she said, like again, that when you are practicing any form of martial arts, it's a all the time you want to just fight. That's all. But I would say it's exactly the opposite. When you know that it's not really productive to fight, you start to find out other options, other alternatives, and most importantly, you start becoming aware of the situation and what the other person wants. So it helps you to resolve the conflict before it even starts, because you start noticing those small hints that person is giving you.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Even in my training, even I have done this, minute details that we need to watch out for, right? So, okay, you
Yeah,
said there was a gap, right? Between when you were training
I
when you
lost
were
you there.
young. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, can you hear me, Aishwarya?
yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay. So, you said there was a big gap between when you were training in your childhood and then when you started learning Hindi. So, what motivated you to take up martial arts again?
So I had noticed this, that when I was practicing, I was in a completely different mindset. Like I was much less worried about anything in particular. Like self-confidence level that we talk about, that took dip when I was not practicing. That took huge dip actually, and then I was scared of pretty much everything in that duration. Although I had practiced in karate, I was like, I won't be able to handle this, which was exactly the opposite thing when I was practicing. I was like, okay, even if it goes wrong, I'll be able to do something. I might come out of it. That mentality was totally gone, and I was in depression, I would say, in that duration when I was not practicing. Because, but that shouldn't happen again, because if you have practiced, it sticks to you. It kind of sticks to you. But because, as I said, philosophical aspect is totally absent in those classes. It's all about medals and trophies. So philosophical aspect is gone. So it's hard to maintain that.
Right, right. Okay.
So when I was
Were
reintroduced,
there
it was
any Yeah,
I was
sorry.
saying it
No,
was
no, sorry.
completely different. It was completely different experience. Like I could still remember my first day of class when I rejoined.
Okay, okay. Okay, so were there any personal experiences, any incidents um, where you found yourself being attacked, or you found yourself feeling unsafe? Were there any such you know like incidents in your life that also motivated you to start your training again?
Yeah, yeah. As I said, like in that duration, I was not practicing. Uh, I was not completely out of practice, but I wasn't practicing as much as I was doing it before. So in that duration, actually, I got attacked by a so-called classmate of mine. So he tried to because I was practicing with my other friend Saurabh. We used to practice after college and in free time, like how to get out of certain situations and all, because he had already started training with Ashwin. So that practice helped me actually in that time. So that was like that was quite a struggle even back then to get out. Too weak to put up a fight. I had just gotten discharged due to I was admitted due to dengue. And, it has been only 4 to 5 days after I got discharged, and I had so many things to do because my exams were nearing, and I had to prepare because I was admitted. I had no time to study there because entire time was like I was just recovering from it. So I had to get back my nutrition, I had to get to my studies, I had to pass my exams, and in all this situation, I was attacked, and I was totally startled at first, but then as it came to me, like, okay, I need not to, need not to panic. All I have to do is control my breathing and just think straight, which I couldn't. Even when I was practicing before, was all I was taught was to, just put your anger to your use. But I wasn't given the practices, I wasn't given the techniques as to how to do it. So initially, I would, just go and go riled up and end up hurting myself. Even that has happened. So in this situation, I'd say it helped me a lot because, and that guy was in such a bad condition that doctor asked, "Did you get hit by a car or what?" Because his half face was swollen, and I remember I had stabbed him with a pencil in his rib. So doctor was like, what hit you? I was like, no, it was an accident because he couldn't tell. He couldn't tell that, yeah, I did something wrong and this is my punishment for that.
Okay, that's so you actually faced a physical assault and came out of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, that's another thing that got me okay, enough is enough. I need to get back to my practices no matter what.
Hmm, hmm. Wow, that's awesome, Aishwarya. Okay. Um, Aishwarya, you have been training both men and women, right? You have been teaching
Yeah.
both men and women in martial arts. What difference have you seen in the way men learn martial arts and women learn martial arts?
Okay. Initially, I would say when we say men training martial arts and women training martial arts, uh, first thing that comes in mind is aggressive practicing. Like, even that was even my perception when I newly joined the Bhimi classes. I was new, and it happened that trainer wasn't there because he had just traveled back from mountains and needed some rest. So I was put in charge to handle the classes, and it was like barely second or third week of my training, and I was like, "What, man? There are people training who have been training like for 2 to 3 years in those classes, and how can you put me there to take the classes? They are much more senior than me." But here's one thing, that because it wasn't hierarchy-based classes, people were quite open, and they were very welcoming and supportive. I found out, like, all my fear of like I might upset someone as I'm new and taking the classes, this might upset someone, especially guys, because male ego. So yeah, that tension, like that prejudice of mine was, I would say, like uh, it wasn't there anymore. Like, it was false. It was proven false to me. But again, as you said, what's the difference between men practicing and women practicing? So although there were many girls in the classes, in those class, so I've seen many of them to avoiding to push their limits. They was afraid to getting hurt. It would show from their body language and their practices that they were not comfortable getting hurt, uh, although they were practicing. Like, after some time they got used to it, because of the practices we were doing, because of the environment that was created. It was like it was given, if you show machoism in the class, you are gonna get kicked out. So everyone was very respecting of each other, and many women have this. Even I had this, that I'm so short or I'm so weak to practice. Like, what will happen if I used to be scared of wrestling drills. I used to be scared of them because everyone was like double or triple size of mine in those classes, and I would be like, okay, if this guy falls on me, I'm gonna get crushed. There's no other way I'm getting out of this. I'm gonna get fractured or broken somewhere, and that's how I had to go home. But classes were, trained. People were trained. Their mindset was trained like a warrior, so they knew how to handle their power, how handle their strengths very well, both their strengths and weaknesses. But I find it to be little more difficult for women to handle this. It could be because they are not in practice that much as of guys. It could very well be because of that. But yeah, they have this body shaming that they have been absorbing from their environment, be it their friend circle, be it their family. Like, even I get to like, I've been told that you're so skinny, you'll easily break. If I slap you, you'll easily break your jaw. And I'm like, no, dude, try. Even in practice, even in classes, there were everyone was a bit concerned that I might get injured or I might break somewhere. So they used to go slow initially, very slow, and then gradually we used to increase. So this applies to anyone and everyone, be it veteran student or be it newbie. We always gradually increase the intensity and speed of it. So that sense of security and sense of being part of it, that grows.
Okay. Okay. Um, Aishwarya, why would you recommend all women to start training in martial arts? Why do you think it's important? Because we have all the systems in place to ensure women's safety. But still, you trade in martial arts. I trade in martial arts. So why would you recommend this to all women?
See, first thing, I've seen many girls around me, my friends, my cousins, whoever, uh, being reluctant to these practices. They are like कि हाँ, I can fight, I can, हाँ मैं झगड़ सकती हूँ, मैंने बात करना स्टार्ट किया तो सामने वाला चला जाएगा ऐसे ही मेरी बातें सुन के. But that's not how it happens. If someone is determined to hurt you, they'll hurt you. That's given. It's how you respond to that matters. And in these situations, then because their confidence is shattered, like within a second, like they are not anticipating it, just hits them. They get panicked. That's one thing. And in that panic, no, if you have it doesn't matter if you have practiced for 10 years, 15 years, it doesn't matter if you are gonna get panicked and gonna miss the whole thing for yourself. Because then you'll be thinking, okay, I know this. Shall I do this first or shall I do that? Okay, I'll do this first, then that. No, that there should be only one thing that you're focused on. That's getting out of it safely, like unharmed. And this is missing. Okay, this is missing in a lot of trainings. Second thing is second reason that I get why you won't practice this when I ask someone why you won't practice is that I have my brother, I have my boyfriend, I have my family, I have society to protect. Yeah, okay, if they are protecting you, there are other girls who have been victim to these cases. Even society was there to protect them. What happened?
Right.
So having them around and having access to them immediately, these are two different things. And that's the whole point of it. Till you get that help, you even like say I call someone and that person is gonna be there in 5-10 minutes. I'm still in danger for those 5 to 10 minutes, and I need to keep myself unharmed. So it's even be it for those 5 to 10 minutes, you need to learn this. How to handle that situation is very important because that's the crucial time. That's a very crucial time, like when you realize that you are under attack and your help arrives. It's like calling an ambulance and keeping the patient alive in those moments when he has gotten heart attack or stroke.
Right. That this example is that was quite intense. Yeah, that's because it's a completely different situation. When you are attacked, it's just unpredictable. There is so much brutal force, and yeah, you need to be ready. You need to.
I mean, let's just accept. Yeah, let's just accept that men are stronger than you. They naturally have strong build than you, but you also need to practice to handle that. You just can't go like, I can handle it, and when someone slaps you, you come crying.
Yeah, I know self-defense, as I have understood, is not about which brutal force will win, right? It's more about technique. It's more about presence,
Techniques.
right? Yeah.
It's more about awareness.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Okay, Aishwarya, it's been so many years that you have been training. Do you still have any fears? Because I'm asking this because many people think that women who practice martial arts, they are aggressive, they are not emotional, and they have such ideas. So we both know that we are as vulnerable as any other women around in the society. So I want to know, what are your fears, what are your dreams and desires?
Okay, let's talk about fears first. This has like just like Pallavi, even I have heard this many times that in my friend circle, like beware of her, she knows how to fight, she'll kick your ass. Like, उसको reason नहीं लगेगा maybe. Anything might upset her. Of course, anything might upset anyone, and you don't know to what degree you can upset them. And it's not just me, even that person can be very vicious then, depending on how much you have crossed the line for them. So yeah, that's one fear or sad part, I would say. Like you know, being misinterpreted by others, and I having to, like, we having to lose that bond that might have been there otherwise. And second thing is, of course, being trapped because of the same mentality that others are imposing on me. Like, it could be like, say, I take some decision and I'm very assertive of it. That assertiveness might be misinterpreted as aggressive, me being aggressive and trying to force my decision on them, and all of it again coming down to because you practice this, otherwise girls don't do this. Because it's kind of, you know, it's like girls usually listen what others are telling them, especially with society and elders. It's given that you have to listen, which is not acceptable. And I have found this, like, this mentality, this conditioning, it also affects most of your decisions in these difficult times when you are being attacked or anything. It does affect at that time, because many girls are like, okay, if I hit this person in self-defense, be it in self-defense, I'm gonna get blamed that you are very aggressive. Why did you do it in first place? What then? She's supposed to get raped or what, man? So yeah, these are two things. And speaking about desires, yes, I want to travel the world, and I would love to teach and empower other women wherever I go.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, when we have such dreams and desires where we want to do something, you know, our independence is important to us. It's very important to understand the nature of violence around us, and the whole point is not to be violent. In fact, you
Right.
know, like you said, like Pallavi said, the whole point is not to be violent, but to understand the violence in you know, in depth. Yeah. So
It's critical,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that's great, Ashwarya. Thanks. This was such a you know, a complete conversation. There were so many things. Many people actually will when they you know, there is this notion that these things are very rare. You know, women being assaulted. These things are very rare. It doesn't happen to generally. It doesn't happen. Yeah, but we saw that it happened to Pallavi. It happened to you. You also went through a physical assault. So yeah, this it's a kind of a real conversation. Yeah.
And it's
So
like
thanks a
it
lot.
doesn't have, yeah, it doesn't have to be, you know, physical attack. There are different ways of attacking. Like, some might attack you emotionally or mentally. It happens all the time. Like, someone gets passive aggressive just because it's you know, it doesn't make sense to them. So even in that, then they start attacking you in different way. And even in that situation, you have to be strong enough, mentally and emotionally strong enough. That comes through practice again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because it's not just about becoming physically strong. It is about your mindset also. It's about your emotional strength also,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for this conversation. and I'm looking forward to meeting you sometime very soon, and we can train together, and that would be so much fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, thanks, Aishwarya. Yeah, take care. Have a good day.
Yeah, yeah,
Bye.
good day.